Since 1986, Key Largo has been home to the oldest undersea lodge on the planet. Welcome to Jules Undersea Lodge.
Brandy?
Oh my gosh, it's so good to see you.
Oh, great. Thanks for coming.
I have been wanting to come here for so long, so I am so excited to be here. So tell everyone, what is Jules and what is the background? What's the history of this place?
All right, well, Jules Undersea Lodge used to be the underwater habitat La Chalupa. So in 1972, it was stationed in Puerto Rico, where it was a scientific research habitat. And so it would go out on missions 2 weeks at a time, and 4 to 5 scientists would live in there and conduct experiments. And then when the experiments were done, they would return to the surface and be towed back in, and they would do it all over again. By 1976, the program was over. The habitat sat unused for a period of time, but in 1980, Jan Koblik, who was the original designer of the habitat, reacquired it and spent several years refurbishing it and turning it into Jules Undersea Lodge. And in 1986, we brought it here to the Lagoon, and it's been there ever since, wowing people and, with the wonders of the underwater world.
Oh my gosh, that's so incredible. Now, I'm imagining that you guys get people from all over the world that come here.
Oh, sure. Had someone from France the other week, got someone from Brazil coming in. I've had Arabic customers here, Indonesian, so all points of the compass.
What do you love the most about Jules and your whole experience that you've had here?
Well, I think, it's a childlike wonder, right? I mean, I don't know if you ever put a boat upside down in a lake and kind of went underneath it. It's just that thing. Every time I pop up into Jules Undersea Lodge, it's just that childlike wonder of how cool is this, that I'm underwater, but I'm breathing air, and there's TV, and there's a refrigerator, and there's beds. And so it's just an incredible opportunity for people to spend a long period of time in an underwater environment. And with the 3 windows we have, you see some incredible things with the marine life.
What's the longest period of time that anyone stayed in?
The world record, we hold the world record for the longest stay in a fixed underwater habitat at 73 days, 2 hours and 56 minutes, I believe. That's held by Bruce Cantrell and Jessica Fain.
And what other kinds of missions have happened with Jules?
Well, I mean, just in the last few years, La Chalupa 30 was a NASA-sponsored mission, so it was 30 days long. They had a variety of experiments, and some of the technology that was tested and developed down there is just starting to come into play nowadays. So you might see some very interesting technology, in airports over the next few years that came as a result of that mission. We've had the Classroom in the Sea. That record-setting mission was all about sending virtual lessons out of the habitat. So these were college professors that were constantly sending virtual classroom sessions out, and that's going to be a big part of the 100-day mission as well. We're really going to be connecting with youth and schools all over the country and sharing a message of how important marine conservation is.
Well, I'm really excited to check it out. Can I go down there? How do I get there?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. A lot of people wonder about that. If I'm not SCUBA certified, can I go down and spend a night in a hotel? And luckily enough, in the SCUBA industry, we have what's called a resort course. Okay, so with just a couple hours of instruction, we can make you comfortable enough that with an escorted dive, we can take you down to the habitat, get you situated in there, and then when you're ready to check out, we come down and tidy you back up and escort you back to the surface.
Oh, that's great. All right.
Now, before we go into that, though, I do want to show you what I'll be doing when you're down in the habitat. So I'm your 24/7 concierge when you're down there. I want to show you the command van where I'll be staying and the technology that we have in there.
Sounds good.
Let's take a look. All right, well, Brandy, this is the command van.
Oh my gosh.
And this is my home for the next 24 hours.
This is so cool.
And so this is our webcam in the moon pool. And so that's the area where the water is. So this allows us to watch, should the air stop, we can see if the water's rising. We could act on that if we needed to. Down in the habitat, there's handsets in both the common room and the bedrooms, and if you pick up the handset, it's going to ring directly up to that intercom there.
Oh, wow.
But nowadays, we've got super strong Wi-Fi. In fact, we have some of the best Wi-Fi in the entire compound down in Jules Undersea Lodge, because you'll be the only one using it.
Oh.
So we can just communicate via text and phone.
Oh, that's awesome. What did this normally control in the past? Is it kind of similar to the same thing, or were there any other elements of it?
Right. Well, again, remember that back when it was an underwater habitat for scientific purposes, it was mobile. So it moved all around the island of Puerto Rico. And so the command van had to be able to follow. So this was able to be towed, and it had all the control elements necessary to monitor any mission.
Wow, that's great. And I see it's even got the bed here. So
that's where I'll be sleeping.
And you have to be on watch 24/7, or do you get to take?
No, it's, ultimately, because of the nature of the situation, although it's a very safe experience, there has to be a certified instructor on
of course,
premises to react to any emergencies.
That's great. So you have all the safeties, and you still get all the amenities and luxuries of staying at a hotel, but you're underwater and with added protection, actually.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
All right, well, if you don't have any further questions, let's go ahead and get you suited up. We'll go through the Discover Scuba, and we'll get you down into the habitat, because that's where the action is.
I'm super excited.
All right, let's go.
Don't go anywhere. We've got lots more with Hotel Incredible when we come back. Welcome back to Hotel Incredible and the Jules Undersea Lodge.
All right, well, welcome to Jules Undersea Lodge.
Wow, this is so cool.
Welcome to what we call the common room. And as you can see, we have a small kitchenette here, well-stocked fridge, basically all the conveniences of home. Now, the one thing people ask is, how do you get the electricity? How do you get the water down here, et cetera? Well, basically we're hooked up on the same grid as anybody else in Key Largo. So our electrical comes from the Key Largo system. Our sewage is processed the same way. We pump our sewage to the surface. The water, part of the Key Largo water system. So everything's basically the same. It's just a matter of doing the work to get it down here, running the wires, running the hoses, et cetera, to make it available to the habitat. Oddly enough, people wonder about connectivity. We got the best Wi-Fi in the compound down here in Jules Undersea Lodge, because when you're down here, you're the only one on it.
Man, I can't believe you even have a microwave.
Well, one thing that you have to understand about being in the habitat, when you're down at depth, air is compressed. And so right now you're breathing about one and 2/3 the amount of air that you would at the surface. It's just compressed, so it doesn't feel any different. What that means, it is also like you have more oxygen. So on the surface, we have 20% oxygen in the air. Down here, it feels like 37%.
Huh.
And so you don't want to have, with increased oxygen, you don't have open flames. So we don't have heating elements. You don't get to bring your hairdryer down here.
Oh.
We don't, no gas stoves, anything of that nature. So it's either microwave or coal.
Wow.
Or it's the pizza delivery.
So tell me about that. So I did see that online, that people get pizza delivered down here. How does that work?
Well, basically, we can deliver anything. We're known for the pizza delivery. Now, if you Google scuba diving pizza boy, you see
That's
me.
you.
Yeah. But, ultimately we'll do anything, so we'll bring anything. We had somebody down here the other day that wanted a little something different. So we brought some pasta primavera down from one of the local restaurants. So it's just a matter of deciding what you want to eat. and putting it in the dry box and getting it down here. So, I mean, basically anything that has to come down in a dry box or has to come down in some other form to keep it dry. So ultimately, any kind of remodeling, any kind of upgrades that we do requires a lot more thought process.
Oh, I bet.
So some of the things that are down here are the original from 1986 because there's just no way, like I can't recarpet the walls. There's just no way to make that happen.
Right. Wow, that's so cool. So now you have some beds set up here. You have a bedroom.
Yeah, we have a complete sleeping area across the way. If you want to go check that out.
Yeah, I would love to take a look.
All right, let's go. And here's the sleeping area.
Oh. Wow, you actually have 2 bedrooms.
Yeah, so we are able to separate into 2 bedrooms if we'd like. Nice parrotfish there joining us for a little snack.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's so cool.
And that's one of the most unique aspects of being down here is having these 3 windows out into the underwater world and getting to see, behaviors from marine life that you just don't have an opportunity if you don't have an option of sitting down here for hours and staring at them. So, we've seen all kinds of cool things. We see flatworms cleaning off the windows. Saw a sea spider, very small sea spider the other day dancing on the window that we were able to get a picture of. Seen some of you saw those comb jellies coming in, yeah? Those comb jellies, very interesting at night to watch them feed. So we have lights that we have outside the common room window. We'll turn the lights on. That brings the plankton in, is attracted by the lights, and then those comb jellies will come in and feed. It's kind of unique to see how they open their body and envelop some of the plankton and feed. So that's one of my favorite parts, is just being down here, being able to see the different marine life. Haven't happened yet, but I know if I spend enough time down here, I'll get a manatee will swim by the window at one of these times. So.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Now, how many guests have you had here?
We'll let you bring 6 down here. Obviously, it's a little tight depending on size, but we'll let if you want to camp out. You can't just put as many people down here as you want because there is an issue. You can produce too much CO2. So if you pack it full of people, just their exhalation will up the CO2 level in here. So we do limit the number of people just because that can be a factor.
So how many travelers have come through here?
That's a good question. We don't have an exact answer, but I will say this: we're in the 4,600s in terms of missions that we run. So we've run over 4,600 missions. We believe somewhere in the neighborhood of well over 10,000 people that we brought through the hotel. And many of them have become aquanauts. So that's a unique aspect as well. One of the most unique parts of spending time in the hotel, if you're a diver, is that back in 1963, when manned undersea exploration was just taking off, the term aquanaut was coined. And that means someone who spent 24 hours underwater. So if you do come down and you want to participate in the aquanaut program, you have to be a certified diver, but we bring you down here, you spend 24 hours in the habitat, and when you finish that program, then you get certified as an aquanaut. And that's a very unique club to be in. There's only a limited number of people that have had the opportunity to spend time underwater 24 hours. And, I enjoy being one of those, a member of that club.
Wow, that's really interesting. Yep. And now, are there any other undersea lodges that are here in the United States?
Well, there's nothing commercially available that allows you to spend 24 hours underwater as a scuba diver. Now, there's some what I call glass bottom underwater hotels, which, basically you walk down into the hotel and it's, it's been, a section of it's been built below water level. So you have the ability to see fish, but it's not a true underwater hotel. You have to be on scuba to enter this hotel. There's only one other underwater habitat in the entire world. That's here in the Florida Keys, and that's Aquarius Reef Base. But that is a scientific habitat, and to get onto that, you'd have to have very specific credentials, go through a lot of training, and be selected to be a part of that mission. So there's only 2 underwater habitats in the world. We're one of them, and we are active. Aquarius Reef Base is not active right now. So in terms of people living underwater, we're probably the only game in town worldwide.
And was there a process in order to become to allow it to have general guests, or to kind of transition from being just research?
Well, I mean, ultimately, the concept of underwater habitats have been established for a long time, and the safety record is well known. So the safety record of, the habitats is known. And once you start establishing things like in less than 30 feet of water, positive pressure habitat, that's, all the utilities are coming from the surface. These are things that just allow, basically make it easy to make the decision that, yeah, this is something that can go forward.
Can you expand on that? So you talked about being less than 30 feet underwater. Right. So why is that important?
Well, as a scuba diver, when you dive, your body absorbs nitrogen. So under pressure, nitrogen becomes a liquid, enters your bloodstream. As long as you follow the dive tables or you follow your dive computer, you're gonna be prevented from overextending that limit. So you know that, hey, if I'm going down to this particular depth, I have this amount of time. If I spend more than that, I can't come directly to the surface, or I would get what's called decompression sickness. Huh. Above 33 feet, that's not a concern. So as long as you dive above 33 feet, you're considered to be in the 2 atmospheres. So you got 1 atmosphere at the surface, and at 33 feet, you got another atmosphere. You can dive in that shallow water for an extended period of time and still come to the surface and not have to worry about this decompression sickness. So that's our situation. We're in about the moon pools in 22 feet of water. So ultimately, you can, like I've said before, we set the world record for 73 days living underwater here. And as soon as those people were done, they were able to swim right to the surface and not have to worry about decompression sickness. So that aspect alone, the fact that it's in less than 30 feet of water, makes the experience very safe.
Don't go anywhere. When we come back, more with my interview with Thane and his unbelievable undersea lodge. You won't want to miss it. Welcome back to Hotel Incredible at the Jules Undersea Lodge and my interview with Thane Milhone and how he runs an underwater hotel. Do they have any sort of regulations where they have to come and do checks and make sure there's safe? Like with a normal hotel, they'd have to check on that you have your fire extinguishers and that you're up to code and these different things. Do you have something like a similar process, or is it different because you're a whole different kind of animal?
It's different in that, we're very unique, so ultimately a lot of this was established, at the inception. And, basically if we don't do it, it doesn't function, So basically, it's kind of a self-regulating habitat in that respect. Like, we have to stay on top. We don't need a government agency to tell us what we have to do to keep this thing working. Yeah. If we don't do it, then it won't work and we won't be able to bring people down
and in fact, you would probably know more than anybody who would go
that's the basic line. There's not, because we are a one-off, the person that checks on underwater hotels doesn't exist in the realm of the government, But like I said, ultimately, the onus is on us. And if we don't, mind our P's and Q's, if we don't take care of the habitat, then it ceases to exist.
So how do you facilitate, normal, say, housekeeping, even things like that, where somebody has to come in and change bedding or bring toilet papers and things like that? How does that all work out?
That's basically, it's part of the mission director's job. I'm a busboy, I'm your maid, I'm your concierge, I'm your room service guy. So basically anything that has to come down here comes in the dry boxes. Toilet paper comes down the dry box, food comes down the dry box, towels come down in the dry boxes, and vice versa. Dirty towels go back, trash goes back, So basically, we make our livelihood because people want to come see the ocean, right? People want to see the critters in the ocean. They want to experience, what the marine life is. And so we've got to take care of what we do. So, ultimately, when you took a shower, you used reef safe shampoo and body wash. Wow. We don't, you drank some canned water, right? So you don't see plastic bottles down here. We're not going to support, plastic pollution in the ocean is a big thing right now. So we're not going to, we don't want to support that. So we're doing everything, all of our cleaning supplies are biodegradable, safe for the environment. So these are things that we think about down here. The ocean environment's under enough pressure as it is, and we as stewards and as people that are trying to, show people the beauty of the environment, we've got to take care of it.
So, like you said, this kind of lodging will appeal to certain people. Kind of elaborate on that. What kind of people generally book to stay here?
Sure.
What kind of people do you see?
Well, I think it's twofold. Number one, you've got the diving community, right? And so for the diving community, there's a certain segment that the notion of spending, it's just always been a dream, Jacques Cousteau or Jules Verne or whatever, whatever book or movie that you saw, it would be neat to be able to live underwater. So I think that's just, people that have experienced the ocean through diving or whatever the case may be, and just like, man, it's a bucket list thing. And then, the non-divers, that's an interesting, it's kind of, I'm not quite sure what, spurs each one because it's different, but, for someone to go, well, I don't even dive, but I want to experience this. That's kind of an extra, it's maybe, again, the ultimate bucket list, because not only, do I want to do this, but I've got to take a whole other step and learn how to scuba dive to make that happen. So, I think that's a very adventurous, type of person that wants to do that. And, will ultimately, take a chance and put themselves out there to see if it'll happen.
Well, thank you so much. I've had such an incredible experience and time here. Definitely, like you said, a bucket list kind of thing. This was truly remarkable. A lot different than what I expected, but in all of the good ways.
Yeah.
It's just surreal. It's really surreal and just calming and just good feeling. So I just appreciate so much you opening up your place for us and allowing us to come explore it and talk to you about it and hear the history. So thank you so much.
Oh, it was great to have you. And, we love showing off what we have. Like you said, most people have no notion of what to expect. And like you said, most people are pleasantly surprised. And quite frequently you hear, I didn't want to come up. I wish I could have stayed longer. So.
Well, thank you again. And I'm excited to hear about all the new and exciting things and to see the future for Jules.
Yeah, so are we. We're excited to promote marine conservation, take care of that ocean.
Wow, what a truly incredible place. What I love about my interview with Thane is how he explained that he was able to see the vision in something. He was able to see that this property was before a research lab, and now he's converted it to a lodging establishment. To be able to see that purpose when it wasn't already there is truly incredible. At a normal hotel where you can charge $65 to $100+ per night, that's just for a normal stay. But in this case, Thane's able to charge well over $1,000 per night for the experience. Well, I'm Brandy Connor with Hotel Incredible. See you next time.